Putin lost the war in Ukraine. It seems even the bloody dictator himself realizes this now.
We were deceived. We were blatantly lied to. We were just led by the nose, deceived. We were simply duped, fooled like a simpleton. We were just swindled.
The much-vaunted Russian air defense indeed certainly turned out to be less effective. After all, it was worse than a sieve. The Kremlin's Panzer S-300, S-400, and even the latest S-500 systems, which Putin boasted about not long ago, are unable to withstand the swarms of Ukrainian drones.
Now they have classic Russian bravado multiplied by an infernal horror, you know?
As a result, in order to protect Egypt, at least himself, Putin is literally filling up everything around his residence with all possible new air defense systems. However, even they will not save the bloody dictator from inevitable and ultimate retribution, especially after the latest weapon, which truly has no analogs, appeared in the hands of Ukrainian defenders.
And this creates serious prerequisites.
What exactly is this ammunition that makes all the Russian generals tremble? Who shared the unique technology with official Kyiv, and how are our defenders using the gained advantage on the battlefield? All about this in today's arsenal. The United States of America. Rightfully, the army of this country is considered the strongest and most advanced in the world. The United States Air Force currently has over 13,000 aircraft in service. This is more than the armies of all other countries combined. And the Pentagon's defense budget amounts to $770 billion a year. But even with all this potential and capability, the American military was not the first to acquire the development that will be discussed. And this is despite the fact that the unique weapon will be manufactured in the USA. ERAM stands for Extended Range Active Missile, which essentially translates to an active homing missile with extended range, such as the AIM-120 ERAM, a formidable and very lethal weapon. American engineers have been working on its development for more than a year. This solid missile is ready to strike the enemy at a distance of up to 400 kilometers.
We're talking about the capability of using this munition at a distance of up to 400 kilometers, somewhere around 400 kilometers. That's 250 miles. And it should be carefully and thoroughly noted that this particular type of military munition, called the extended range attack munition, that is a munition specifically and meticulously designed for attacking military missions with extended range in various combat scenarios.
With a warhead weight of 260 kilograms, the missile can easily reach a speed of 763 kilometers per hour. Impressive, but admit it, not outstanding characteristics. So what makes this munition so dangerous for Putin? And what is its uniqueness?
It's quite an unpleasant thing, especially since the Russians need it now.
The main difference between the ERAM and other missiles is the significantly advanced guidance system. While most use semi-active homing on the target and guide their missiles with a radar beam, this one does everything completely on its own, independently and autonomously. Thanks to the active homing head, the missile has become completely independent and gained the ability to hit targets beyond the radar horizon, as well as those hidden from radars by the curvature of the Earth or complex terrain. This news caused genuine fear beyond the curb, considering that the Americans made a fateful decision before deploying the latest missile into the US arsenal. The White House promised to share the unique technology with the Ukrainian armed forces.
This request embodies the United States approach for the future. I think that regardless of who ends up in the White House or how the situation changes, such munitions will be used on Russian territory.
And they will absolutely be used. Trust me when I say with exquisite precision, leaving the enemy no chance for mercy.
This munition will be used to meet the needs of the armed forces. of Ukraine in their fight against the Russian occupiers. And this is very interesting, and this considering that the issue of the arrival of Western aircraft models in Ukraine is currently being decided, particularly the multi-role F-16 fighters, as we speak, which is a significant development and could have far-reaching implications. And it seems that this munition, which is essentially a hybrid of a bomb and a missile, could become one of the main types of weapons that Ukrainian pilots can use to strike the territory of the Russian Federation.
At the same time, Ukrainian pilots will be at less risk to their lives thanks to the ERAM. They will have the opportunity to launch new munitions from a greater distance before being detected by Russian air defense systems. The advantages of the American development do not end there. Among other things, the astonishing accuracy of modern American weapons has shocked Kremlin generals. Despite a range of 400 kilometers, the missile remains as accurate as ever, even when subjected to enemy electronic warfare measures. It considers a deviation of 10 meters from the course as the maximum.
The most essential component is the accuracy of the strike. That is, the target's impact radius is about 10 meters, which creates serious prerequisites for the destruction of the rear infrastructure of the Russian occupation forces. Moreover, this concerns the territories of the Russian Federation itself.
This was achieved by installing an active radar homing head on the missile. During the cruise phase, the ERAM is controlled by an inertial autopilot with the ability to adjust the course from the command post. In the final phase of the flight, the active homing system is employed.
By and large, according to these requirements, this ERAM system, as the abbreviation suggests, must be extremely precise, and at least 50% of all these bombs that are deployed should, so to speak, typically fall within a radius of 10 meters when used in general. This means that is more than half of the munitions must hit the target accurately, even if the enemy employs electronic warfare measures.
How will the Kremlin respond to this, you might ask? In fact, with nothing. While Putin is actively engaged in closing the skies at least over his own residence, his cardboard generals are trying to counter Western advanced weaponry with their latest developments from the Soviet era. We are talking about Cavs, but the latest ones are at best from the end, and at worst from the middle of the last century.
Russian Khabis are outdated. That is, they are what remains from the Soviet Union.
But even this advantage of the enemy is disappearing before our eyes. Time and again, precise strikes are delivered on the enemy's depots. The Ukrainian armed forces are proving to Putin and the whole world that the dictator's song is over. Among other things, the American ERAM should drive one of the last nails into the coffin of Russian missile terror. In addition to its accuracy, the overseas missile can also boast of being inexpensive. This is also an important factor in delivering a crushing defeat to the enemy.
The main goal for this munition is to make it as cheap as possible and as convenient as possible to produce, so that it can be manufactured in large quantities, as I understand it, up to 1,000 per year.
So it's no surprise that in Russia, as soon as they heard about the capabilities of the new Ukrainian weapon from the USA, panic began among the Kremlin's top ranks.
And this is a very serious and very dangerous step. This has already caused such a moral and ethical shock in Russia.
You must agree, such news cannot help but please. After all, if the enemy is so panicked about their own skin just from hearing about the delivery of new weapons to Ukraine from partners, one can only imagine what will happen to them after the use of modern ERAM. on the warehouses and airfields of the Russian Federation. We will eagerly await that day, and we'll definitely tell you about the first successes from the front. In the meantime, don't forget to like this video and write in the comments about which other weapons you would like to learn more about. And most importantly, subscribe to our new Arsenal channel. The link is in the description below the video.